Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first tonight, Tasmanian Senator Erika is facing pressure to resign over alleged comments he made about former Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins. Speaker Sue Hickey has told State Parliament the Senator accused Ms Higgins of being disgustingly drunk when she was allegedly raped.
Even by Sue Hickey standards, this was a bombshell.
I wish to make a statement to the House.
After yesterday accusing an unnamed Liberal of making disparaging remarks on the alleged rape of Brittany Higgins, Ms Hickey today used parliamentary privilege to claim these were the words of Senator Erika earlier this month.
As for that Higgins girl, anybody who is so disgustingly drunk, who would sleep with anybody, could have slept with one of our spies and put the security of our nation at risk.
The Speaker was dramatically dumped from the Liberals last weekend. She's now urging her old party to do the same with the Senator.
I accept that these are deeply held views by the Senator. However, they are not endorsed by our wider community, who view this judgment as slut-shaming.
Claims met with fierce denial.
I can assure you that that which has been asserted by the Speaker is categorically and utterly rejected by me.
He says she never raised concerns with him.
What has changed? On Sunday, the Premier informed her she was no longer welcome or wanted in the Liberal Party.
Hours later, Sue Hickey hit back.
I have witnesses who can testify that I told them of the discussion at the event and immediately afterwards.
There was caution from the Prime Minister.
The matter has been continue. Absolutely denied, Mr Speaker, by Senator Abetz, and that is a matter of public record. And Mr Speaker, he will continue to serve in the role that he has.
While Tasmania's Premier wants answers.
I intend to have a conversation with both him and the party. If what has been reported was said, that is appalling. That is appalling.
As Labor and the Greens demanded action.
This is a disgusting statement, and if that is true, it must be condemned.
If Senator Brett said those words, he must resign. If he doesn't resign, the party must sack him. That is very clear.
But what happens next is far from clear.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has been forced into an apology after he raised a harassment allegation at a press conference. For more, Sean McComish joins us again now. Now, Sean, an embarrassing situation for the Prime Minister.
Well, it would certainly look so, Kim, so much so that Scott Morrison released the apology late last night on social media. It all started yesterday at a press conference where the PM tried to address issues in parliamentary culture and sexism. But it took a dramatic turn when he incorrectly claimed media company News Corp was investigating its own harassment claim. That led to accusations he was weaponising an alleged incident. News Corp says Mr Morrison falsely inflated a verbal exchange between two staff members, an issue it's since resolved. Today the PM was picking his words a little more carefully.
I have apologised unreservedly for what I did in bringing that matter into that press conference and to raising something I should never have raised.
There's also speculation of an imminent cabinet reshuffle. Mr Morrison today tried to focus on floods causing disaster in New South Wales, but the flood of problems faced by the government shows no sign of going away. Kim?
Okay. Well, voluntary assisted dying will officially become legal in Tasmania after legislation passed its final hurdle late last night. It has been met with relief and celebration from advocates. Now experts are faced with the task of delivering the complex initiative.
Inside her home on the outskirts of Hobart, Kira is making the most of the time she has left.
At the start of 2020, whilst the country was burning, I was being diagnosed completely out of the blue with metastatic breast cancer. It's a lot to come to terms with being told that you're going to die when you're only 34.
As she continues to fight, late last night, that task was made a little easier. With a final vote,
I think the ayes have it.
Voluntary assisted dying passed Tasmanian Parliament. After a year of debate, change, consultation and vigils, it will become law.
As I get closer to death, I don't have to worry about what's going to happen to me. It means that when my suffering is too great, I have a choice about leaving the world on my terms.
Advocates Natalie and Jackie Gray have spent an emotional year campaigning for the change, advocating on behalf of their mother, granting her final wish.
She gave us these people to help support us and for us to be able to help support them, and knowing that we have fulfilled that final promise is just the most amazing, unbelievable feeling.
I'm relieved and very pleased. I think it's been a great outcome.
Legislative reform can often be a long journey, but here we are, and we are now the third Australian state to enact a safe legal framework for voluntary assisted dying.
But not everyone's celebrating. Opponents say the law is dangerous, vowing not to give up their fight to see it scrapped.
It's a very expensive, legally defective, medically compromised, and has the potential to open the door for elder abuse.
Now the practical task of starting the program begins. That's expected to take around 18 months of logistics, training and staffing.
There's a lot of work to be done in the fact that doctors and nurses have to have a training, they have to have the modules, they have to get the paperwork, the processes, they have to work with getting the substance.
Today, only the start of a long and complex rollout. But for people like Kira, it brings some certainty back to an uncertain future. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
The weather system flooding parts of New South Wales and Queensland is now affecting Tasmania, with heavy rain and strong winds battering the east coast. It whipped up dangerous coastal swirls as a large downpour forced the closure of a main road near St Mary's.
Paddocks saturated, roads flooded, the east coast drenched.
Pretty significant rain across the east. It has the potential to lead to flash flooding.
From the northeast to the southeast, the rain was constant. In 24 hours, Grey recorded 150 millimetres, 50 millimetres at St Helens, all from a relentless weather system inundating New South Wales.
It's a very short and sharp burst that will give us an intense bout of rain, but nowhere near the amount of rainfall that we've seen in New South Wales.
Beach communities also bore the brunt. Rocks vanished under whitewash at Falmouth. It's here on the coast where the power of this storm is so evident. Strong winds coupled with huge swells are now pounding into the rocks. Those wind gusts were as high as 100 kilometres an hour. The downpour triggering mixed fortunes for the agriculture sector. On one hand, set to help livestock farmers, but hinder the wine industry in the midst of a busy harvest season.
You can't harvest when it's raining, so I guess, for those that have started harvesting grapes, there'll be a bit of a pause.
The SES has mobilised units ready to respond to these conditions, offering this advice to the public.
Make sure that they are aware of the weather warnings from the Bureau.
Residents in low-lying areas of the east coast facing a nervous wait tonight, on flood watch and for once hoping the rain goes away.
We are expecting around another 50 to maybe 80 millimetres of rain at parts of the east coast over the coming 12 hours.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
Struggling landlords and tenants have been offered additional support as Tasmania's COVID recovery continues. The government has once again extended 2 financial assistance programs. Originally due to end next week, they will now run until the end of June. The initiative has so far provided more than $3.5 million in support for those experiencing hardship caused by the pandemic. Tenants can also have rent increases reviewed if they believe they are unreasonably high. Landowners in a small community in the state's northwest are reeling after being told a number of houses will be compulsorily acquired if a controversial Bass Highway overpass goes ahead. Despite overwhelming support from locals for alternative measures, State Growth says the overpass is the best way forward to solve problems at the intersection.
Leo and Faye Buerman have lived in this home at Leith for 34 years, raising 3 children.
This is where we've been. It's a beautiful place, and this is where we wanted to retire.
They and the block next door found out a fortnight ago they'll be kicked out if a new Bass Highway overpass goes ahead. It happened with a phone call from a consultancy company.
She said, I'm here ringing to advise you that the project is going ahead and your property is going to be compulsory acquired. That was how she spoke, and that was the manner.
They say the majority of the town is against the proposed development. A portion of Tony Downey's property has also been taken to build an embankment for the bridge. He's built 6-metre high fences to demonstrate the impact.
Basically, it's going to destroy our lifestyle.
We love our property. We bought it for the reason that we can look across at the river, enjoy the view, enjoy the beauty of sitting in the front garden or whatever, and that's all gone.
Landowners have emailed and called the Premier and the Minister for Roads and Transport with no reply.
A simple, cost-effective solution such as speed limit reduction or like a roundabout.
Despite both being in place at several other locations on the Bass Highway, State Growth says they wouldn't work here. The residents affected know the laws say their homes can be taken, but it just doesn't feel right to them.
What we find out is what's yours is not yours. We can take it with the flick of a pen. 2 people sign off on it and it's goodbye.
State Growth said in a statement that no final decision has been made yet and the consultation process will continue. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Extinction Rebellion activists have donned suffragette costumes, joining a nationwide call for government action on climate change on the steps of Parliament House in Hobart. The outfits aiming to remind the public of the transformative power of civil disobedience. Drawing on the suffragettes' fight for the right to vote, the organisation says globally women are more vulnerable to the effects of climate-related disasters and have less opportunity to enact political solutions. Krill might be some of the tiniest creatures in the sea, but a group of Australian researchers have made some huge discoveries into the species. Researchers on board the Investigator today returned to Hobart, having used innovative technology to gain new insights during their 10,000 nautical mile journey.
So the purpose of this voyage is to estimate the biomass of krill to feed into an international organisation that is managing the krill fisheries of the region.
We were able to image krill in high numbers down at the seafloor and return a sample in the light trap, the first ever achieved.
The findings will help manage the valuable southern ocean ecosystems that krill are part of.
A strong overnight result for Richie Port in Spain has proven he's on the right track after returning from injury. Port finished 6th in the Stage 2 time trial at the Tour of Catalunya, 34 seconds behind the winner and fellow teammate and Australian Rowan Dennis. He now sits in 5th overall, 6 seconds back from the lead, heading into tonight's mountainous 3rd stage.
Good evening. After a fairly long dry spell, the heavens have opened up over Tasmania with rain over most districts today. Hobart, Burnie and Devonport 17 degrees and Launceston 18. King Island a high with 21, and as you can see here on the chart, we had above average overnight temperatures with cooler daytime temperatures today. Case in point St Helens with an overnight low of 17 and a top today of 17. Flinders Island and Strawn 20 degrees, Bushy Park 18 and Lyawini 11. And there it is, all the cloud over us today, thick and extensive. Back to those rainfall figures. In the 6 hours to 3 o'clock this afternoon, Grey had 125 millimetres and St Patrick's Head 87 millimetres under that thick cloud. Now that's all spiralling around a low in Bass Strait as a front extends northwards, another frontal band over the Bight and southern WA, and of course plenty of cloud over southeastern Australia. Tomorrow the low sits to our southeast as the high moves over the Bight, trough still over the mainland. Winds west to southwesterly at 20 to 30 knots, reaching 35 knots over the east, swells to 3.5 metres in eastern waters. The severe weather warning continues for the east, the gale warning from Cape Portland to St Helens Point and also from Wineglass Bay to southeast Cape, strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters. We have a moderate flood warning for the South Esk, a minor flood warning for the Macquarie, a watch on the rivers in the east, Derwent and Huon, along with the Furneaux Islands. A road weather alert for the Midlands, east and southeast, and a warning to sheep graziers in the east as well. So we've still got a bit of this weather to come. Showers easing later for Hobart tomorrow, 21 the top for Cygnet. New Norfolk showers easing 20. Launceston expecting a high of 23 with a shower or two. Devonport 20 and 21 for Campbelltown. A bit more rain in the north tomorrow. 19 for Burnie, a shower clearing later. Showers for Strawn 18 and 19 for Smithton. And for St Helens a top of 23 with a shower or two. Early showers for Swansea. Fingal a shower and 21. UV, that's high at 6. Friday, fine and partly cloudy, a shower over the west and northwest. Showers extending statewide on Saturday morning, easing in the afternoon, and on Sunday showers again for the west along with the far south. Sunny and 26 in Perth, partly cloudy in Adelaide, a shower in Melbourne, possible showers in Canberra and Sydney, a sunny 31 in Brisbane. Here are the current conditions. Hobart rainy, Launceston cloudy and cloudy also in Devonport. Still most of the action over the east tomorrow, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much, Merv. That's all your news for now. Good night.